Hey everybody, Steve DeLaviaga, Rise Consulting with some of my two favorite people in our concierge program, Mr. J.D. Crowe, Mr. Shaun Graham. How you doing, boys? How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
All good my way. All good.
So we're both in opposite ends of the summer dog days. I'm in Arizona where it's a dry heat of 117, and the boys are in Georgia where it's probably only 95 with 100 humidity or something. What's it like over there?
That's exactly right. I don't even know if we've gotten that 95 this year yet, but the humidity is killing.
I hear you. I hear you. Shaun says it's hotter in his office than it is outside. I thought, oh boy, here we go. All right, so we're going to go through a series of questions. You guys, it's just have fun, let it roll. We go with it. So I always like to ask this, like none of us, when we were graduating high school, told our folks, hey, mom, dad, I'm going to go be in the mortgage industry and be a lender. Like that never happened, got said by anybody. We all fail our way forward into this space that we're in. So what event, either growing up or high school or college or whatever, kind of prepared you best for what you're doing now? What was the thing? JD, we'll start with you and then go to Shaun.
What prepared me for what I'm doing, not necessarily got me into the mortgage business.
Right. And then we're going to get into the second piece of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that, I went into the Army right after college, spent 6 years as an officer. And I think being in the Army was very eye-opening. I mean, it's a perfect cross-section of the American demographic, right? I mean, you've got people from all walks of life, and being in a leadership position, walking in brand new second lieutenant, you have to have a lot of humility and to walk in and take charge of people that are 10, 15, 20 years your senior and have been in the military about as long as you've been alive. It's a daunting task, and I think if you can master that, leading a mortgage company is pretty easy comparatively.
Exactly. So the discipline that went with it, the fact that you had to walk in, and if you act like you shouldn't be there or scared, no one's going to follow you anyway. So that's just that whole learning experience kind of prepared you when you walked into here. How'd you go from the military again to mortgage? Was it like a conscious effort, blind accident, meeting somebody? What was it?
Well, I was a biology major pre-med in college, so it made sense.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, exactly.
I was getting out of the Army, and I was a logistics officer. So I had an interview for a logistics company in Atlanta. Spent the weekend with a fraternity brother who had just started a mortgage company within a CPA firm. And he literally said, "What do you know about mortgages?" I said, "I have one."
Is that experience enough to get going?
And that was basically it. He knew, my background. Obviously we'd been friends for probably 10 years, and just thought I would be a good fit, and kind of sold me on the idea. So we started from zero. I knew nothing.
I love it. And so ground up. So you walk in here. Did you have a mentor? Did you shadow somebody? Or was it just like, hey, fail forward, figure it out?
I had 3 cassette tapes and a manual.
Shaun didn't know what a cassette tape is. Too young.
Literally, that and the Calyx Point user manual. That was my training guide.
So it was literally just go out, meet people, fail forward, look at it, figure it out.
Yeah, that's it. I knew nothing. Zero.
Which probably actually prepared you better for what you've been able to do in your leadership role, because you learned it from the ground up without any kind of, influence or gimmies or family in the business giving you deals, none of that, right?
I had no processor. I originated, processed, cleared conditions, pre-underwrote. I was our mortgage team.
That's so good. But that's probably some of the best grounding you could get to know what you know. And now you know all facets of it, right?
Yeah. I love when somebody has a processing background that comes into origination, because if you know how to process and you can originate, you'll originate well.
Awesome. Mr. Graham, tell me, how did you go from SEC football rock star that you were into leading a mortgage company on the marketing side and being who you are? How'd that work?
I went back up to the original question that you had for JD.
Okay, good. What shaped you?
Because like what kind of shaped me, and I didn't know this was a skill at that time, but like growing up all through grade school, high school, and stuff like that, I was extremely talkative, and I used to get in trouble in school all the time for talking. And I had no idea the stuff I got in trouble for through grade school would become an asset in this business, because you got to be able to talk to people, you got to be able to have conversations, you got to be able to build relationships, and this is all the stuff I got in trouble for in school. So that's like one of my biggest assets that I had that I didn't know was an asset that applied really well to the mortgage business. So that was
think about this, right? I've got a chance to know you, and I've enjoyed the heck out of it. Your likability is a 10, and so when you come into this thing, you weren't afraid to ask questions, say you didn't know, just talk to somebody and build rapport. Because if you built rapport, you could then figure out a way, right, to do a loan and do business with them. Is that what you figured out pretty quick in this?
I did figure it out pretty quick. And the more rapport you build with a client, a consumer, whatever it may be, the more they trust you, and you can come back to them later with an answer. They don't pound you for right now. They ask you a question. You can say, you know what, Scott, let me get back to you on it. Let me double check this for you. They're like, okay, Shaun, I appreciate you for looking further into this for me, because they have the relationship with them. So that was very key for me. And then you said also a question about football. How did I go from football to mortgages? Well, I didn't go straight from football to mortgages. Like any other athlete, just like you, we all have aspirations of being professional and get paid big bucks and have our names ringing out from all over the place. That's the aspirations. Unfortunately, I was not able to don the professional uniform without purchasing it from the store. But but the thing is, being on a team, it teaches you a lot. You understand that everybody's not the same. You understand there's a lot of competition. You understand that you're good, but there's a lot of other people that are really good, So it helps you kind of focus in and lock in. And I fully understand, especially because I was at the old school coach. I was with Lou Holtz. Yep. So if I can endure the things that he put us through, hey man, this is a walk in the park. And listen, I make a mistake in the mortgage business, I can still recover. You make a mistake on the field, you got a 300-pound guy who's been lifting weights all summer for the last 4 years coming to welcome you to your mistake. So a little different.
So let's dive into that a little bit. So you go to South Carolina. Was Lou there? Did he recruit you there, or did he come in after you were already there?
He recruited us there. He was there. He recruited us over to South Carolina.
So you're probably one of the greatest college football coaching legends of all time. You come into this thing, and it's funny because he's funny and affable, but I know friends that played for him too, and they say you had to show up every day.
Yeah.
120%.
So you kind of think of like, if you're an athlete watching this, and you just think of your worst drill. Like everybody, I don't care what athlete you are and how much you love the game, there's a drill that you hate doing. And so you just imagine doing your most hated drill over and over and over every single day. And that's what it was like playing. So like as an athlete, we always enjoy game day, not so much the practice. So, we fully understand what Allen Iverson said. Practice? Practice?
We're talking about practice?
Talking about practice? Like, yeah.
Because game time was our only time. Coaches could advise. We had to make split-second decisions all the time. It was our time. Practice was their time. We could do that same play 100 times if they didn't like it. Whereas in a game, you got to adjust and make it work. So you learn to be part of a team, disciplined. What did you do out of college, and then how'd you get to mortgage?
Say that one more time.
What'd you do right out of college? Then how'd you get to mortgage? What was that process with you?
So like I said, I did play for Lou Holtz, and coming out of college, I got a chance to work with the Houston Texans for a little while. The owner, Bob McNair, at the time, he was a South Carolina graduate. So Lou Holtz made a call. He knows everybody in the NFL, any GM, like they're around the same age, so he knows them. So he made a call. and I worked on the staff with Houston Texans for a short period until our coach was fired, which is Dom Capers. He was let go, and everybody on the staff got let go.
Yeah, everybody lets go, right? When the top guy goes, everybody goes. Yeah.
And that's something that fans usually don't understand. Like, there's a whole bunch of people attached to this one particular guy. And I was like, man, I don't want to put myself in that position again to where I'm tied to the success of this coach. So I came to Atlanta and I started working in retail and kind of rose through the ranks there, if you want to call it that, rising through the ranks, but became like a training store manager. And I remember one day I was doing payroll. We were building on a new store, and a bunch of support managers were coming in to help me build my new store. And I noticed that all the support managers who were helping me as a training store manager, everybody was making more money than I was. And there's an older guy. I like talking to older people. Okay,
Exactly.
So get wisdom. So, but this older guy I used to bring our company mail to, and he was like, Shaun, hey, you got a great personality. I think you'd be good at doing mortgages. Shaun, you got a great personality. I think you'd be great at doing this. Look what this guy made. And me being from a smaller town, I was like, you know what? I never really heard of mortgages, so I don't want to get caught in anything illegal that you guys are doing over here. So I'm just but the day that I saw that everybody was making more than me, I walked back over to him. I said, hey, Sam, what did you say I would be really good at? And I ended up putting my resume on Monster.com and CareerBuilder.com. And the first mortgage company that called me is the company I'm with today. And I've been here ever since. So it's going on 15 years now.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And you did it from the ground up, right? Started, didn't know anybody, just started talking to people.
Hey, look, JD's a lot smarter than me, so I was really ground level. You understand? Really ground level. Listen, I remember walking my first training class. It was like, hey, you get paid YSP. I was all right. What is YSP? It's yield spread premium. Man, it took me at least 2 weeks to figure out how to calculate yield spread premium. I had never heard that term in my life. Like, I always joke right now. Like, I'll tell people, like, when I really got into the mortgage business, I probably couldn't spell mortgage. That's how bad it was. And I'm a college graduate, and some people are looking at this right now, and a lot of them can't spell mortgage either, because I still, my email is Shaun.Graham@southeastmortgage.com, and people always spell mortgage incorrectly. So I'm just glad to know I'm not the only person in America who can spell mortgage.
So you start doing mortgages, you start talking to people, and you realize right away, how do I differentiate myself when I'm talking to realtors, trying to get referral partners? So what was your differentiation? What did you decide to do that kind of allowed you to create your own brand in this space? There are loan officers all over the state of Georgia and Atlanta.
Well, what I did was, one thing I did, I learned how people were dressing. In business, a lot of times people will wear, they said there's 3 staples you have to have. You have to have a blue suit, black suit, gray suit. So that's what I first started off with. But I realized every networking event I went to, everybody was dressed the same way. So I started wearing bow ties, like religiously. So, and I used to tie them. So what it was for me was a conversation starter, because I looked different. It was just different at that time. So people would always make jokes about it. Okay, so we'd make jokes like, hey, Farrakhan's boy. They would come up to me and try to spin my bow tie. Like, is this like a propeller or something like that? But they didn't know it was just a conversation starter. As a talker, you start a conversation with a talker, it's hard to get out of that conversation. You know?
Sure.
But it helped me set myself apart, because people were like, hey, you're the guy always with the bow ties. Hey, you're the bow tie guy. Bow tie king. I had all kinds of nicknames I had. So when you walk to a networking event, a lot of times somebody can introduce you by name. Say, hey, I'm Shaun. Five minutes later, they already forgot what your name was. So I got very comfortable with people saying, hey, you're the guy that wear the bow tie. And it kind of developed from there. It kind of snowballed, really snowballed. People get upset that I don't wear bow ties now. I got on the call with you. You're like, where's your bow tie? Like,
exactly right, man. I was ready for it.
Yeah.
So this was great. Like, JD, you guys start in this way. And JD, how many loan officers do you oversee in the current role you're in?
We're just under 100.
Just under 100, right? What's the production in billions with that network you oversee annually?
Gosh, I don't even know. We'll be a little north of $1 billion.
North of $1 billion. And Shaun, you're the marketing director handling all those 100 strategies, systems, models, how to grow, correct?
Well, I'm not technically the marketing director, but I handle most of our marketing that we do here.
Yeah.
So yeah, all our strategies in regards to like how we want to introduce our company and to the markets and continually, put our face, forward. I'm definitely heavily involved in all that.
And what I want to say is, people watching, these are two guys didn't grow up in the mortgage space, didn't like have their mom or dad own the company, bring them in. These are two guys that started that were literally trying to figure out how to spell mortgage and had to process, underwrite, do a deal, go back. You were the entire mortgage department. So my point is, if you have the intangibles, and look at you guys, your likability is out of sight, your willingness to learn, high level, love being part of a team and engaging people. That's possible in our real estate space. It's one of the few spaces that is to make the money we make and not go to Harvard or Yale or some PhD. It's crazy. So congratulations. All right, let's go now to real time now. Like right now in this space, I've talked to you guys, again, as concierge partners. I love having you. We're having world-class years. We're having month over month of our best months ever. What strategy, and JD, we'll start with you. What strategy do you see that if it's being executed as a strategy, it's one of the top winning strategies in all of your network of your 100 plus LLs? What are you looking at?
I would say number one is our ability to stay connected. The different ways that we engage with our clients. Cal likes to say all the time, Cal Hope's our CEO, and he says, we still have our very first client. They still do business with us today. I can tell you just the number of people that I've worked with over the last 22 plus years now. I was talking to one of our LOs today, and he said, how is it that, how are you doing your marketing? How do you manage your database? I said, you know what? I'm really bad at it. I'm very passive until I'm active. And I will tell you this, obviously with rates where they are this year and what's been going on, I'm old school. I send an email and I personalize it. I don't do mass social media. Shaun's a master at that. I do individual emails. I copy and paste, and every one of them is personalized. And if I'm going to reach out to my database actively, it's going to be personal. And that's what I encourage our sales team to do. Create connections, create relationships and friends, not just clients or customers.
I think, isn't it funny? Our business isn't difficult, but it's hard work, right? And you hit on the head. You're connected to people that still do business with you. How old's your company, JD? How many years you guys been doing?
We'll be 28 here this year. So started in 1993.
I love it. So you make a huge business personal, and when you do things personal with people, it tends to stick, which is why you have the retention, the growth you've had. Shaun, one strategy you encourage your loan officers to implement such that they can win?
Well, strategy is always worked for me is providing value to your agents. So myself, I personally don't believe in a lot of things that loan officers will say, such as, hey, I work realtor hours. I got low rates. I got a special program. They come in saying a lot of the same things. And so I can come in and say the same thing. So what makes me different than any other loan officer? Why should you work with me when there's, hundreds and hundreds of loan officers to choose from? And so what we concentrate on is the value add. How do I add value to your business? And that's one of the reasons why, we're enjoying working our relationship with you, because I'm now able to give additional tools to our loan officers to help them win. So the thing is that you can talk to any agent as long as you have some value to bring, to the table. That's going to be different than anybody else. And they're going to have a reason to work with you. And that's what we concentrate on. I always get like the example, like a father can't brag about, hey, I put a roof over my kid's head. Hey, I put food on my kid's table. faithful to my wife. You don't have to brag on that's what we're supposed to do, right? So as a loan officer, you're supposed to give good service. You're supposed to, work when your clients need you to work. Those are things we want to do. We want to work on the intangibles and value add. So that's what we concentrate on.
I'm going to say this. We interviewed 6 mortgage companies before we came to Georgia and picked 2. And you guys were by far the most mindset centric of what we are, because to say that we can close a loan, you don't ask a third baseman in the major leagues, can you throw to first when you catch a ground ball? It's understood. Can you, if it's going to be all about rates, there'll always be somebody with a cheaper rate. You guys actually understood the add value to a realtor's business. There's a lot of people that close good loans, and I'm sure in Georgia, lots of companies close loans. There's not a lot of companies that will help add 2, 3, 4 listings a year into a realtor's network, bring them qualified buyers, 3, 4, 5, 6 closings a year on that side. Now you're impacting their business, which actually starts to impact their life with that volume of, those are the kind of stakeholders people want in their business. And you guys had value add from the beginning. And is that something that you guys already had at Southeast, or did you guys work through it and you guys learned it and then permeated it down? How'd you learn it?
Was it value add?
Yeah.
Shaun, where did you first start doing that? Because
it's, I think our years kind of run together. If you start working with someone, kind of run together. I don't know exactly where I learned it. I think it's just through trying to be competitive. I mean, but we're in a market that's extremely competitive, and you got to find a way to set yourself apart, unless you just get ran over. So I think
there's the athlete coming in, buddy, right there. There you go.
Exactly. I mean, as an athlete, if you know that you keep getting beat on this one drill, you need to go put in some extra hours and work on that. How can I get better at this? And my thing, you try a lot of things. It's okay to fail as long as you're failing forward. So I think I failed so much trying different fads and things that didn't stick till it clicked one day, like, I got to provide more value than this next guy. How can I do that? Because I'm not always going to have the lowest rate. I'm not always going to have the lowest closing costs. I may not always be the person who could close a loan the fastest. But what can I do? What one thing can I control? And I can always control for bringing value to the partner.
You know what's funny, Shaun? You help somebody get 2 listings in a year. They're a little more okay when a loan takes 6 more days to close. Exactly. They're a little more okay if your rate is a little bit higher, but your service is impeccable. You're generating business for them. This is the real estate fight. Is we tend to put the bar in the ground. I was in title for years, same thing. Like, we close deals. Well, why not? Why otherwise? Why are we in? That's the barometer. Is we close deals. That can't be the best practice dream. What about you, JD? What was your value add eye opening? Okay, I got to do this and add more value on the business side.
Yeah, I started in the business in '98, and I mean, from the beginning, this has probably been a century-old thing, or as long as mortgages have been around. But what frustrated me to no end was the idea that that we weren't compartmentalized, and that I couldn't just be the best mortgage person. I had to be the best mortgage person, and how can the realtor make money off of mortgages, or how could the attorney make mortgage? It's like, why don't we all stay in our lane and be the best we can possibly be and partner together, and we all do our part, versus why are you trying to get in my pocket? Why am I trying to get in somebody else's pocket? And it's like the whole thing got all mixed up in a bowl, instead of, hey, let's partner with people who are professionals and want to do their business to the best of their ability and be the absolute best that they can be. And I'm going to do that from my side. And when we partner together and we're specialized and we're absolutely focused on what we do and we're professionals, I think that was always my point of view. And it's why I, resisted writing checks for a long, long time.
Isn't it funny to me? I worked with the top 1% in, again, 40 markets for 10 years. The best realtors always were like, help me build my real estate business. Not, can you pay for my birthday party, or can you going to a game or an event is nice. Dinner's great. But most of our top people can do that themselves. What they want is they want to do that once they like you and they build rapport and trust. What they really want is help me generate 3 more deals.
Right.
Get me 5 more at bats. And when people learn that, it gets so much more fun to be in our space. The one that's always what is handout, like, could you pay for this, do this, buy this? That's not, you can't build a big business with someone like that because they don't understand it.
Exactly.
All right. You guys came up, ground up, started for nothing. When you're hiring today, what 2 or 3 traits, characteristics do you believe they have to be successful in your space? And then how fast do you know it? So Shaun, if you're interviewing somebody, what 2 or 3 things you've got to see as characters, and how fast you know if they're going to make it or they're not? Does it take them 6 months, 3 months, 30 days? What's that look like?
Well, I'll tell you the traits that I'm looking for.
Okay.
I always say, like, we are more of an entrepreneurial-based company. So we're not a company that's going to sit there and hound on you. Hey, have you done this? Have you done this? Can you do this? Can you do that? We give you freedom at our company. So you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset where, hey, look, you don't need an alarm clock to wake you up. You know it's time to get up and I got to get to work. I know I got to make these calls. I know I got to do this. I know I got to accomplish this. So I look for some people who are more self-driven. I'm definitely looking for people who are competitive. Okay.
Love it.
But in a team environment. You can be competitive and cause disarray. And that's definitely not what we're looking for. We have, we've been together for a very long time. Like Jay said, this will be our 28th year. I've been here 15. So I got to make sure that people are good team players as well too. Okay. They can pass the ball when they need to pass the ball, and they can shoot it when they need to shoot it. Okay. Being a good teammate. I'm also looking for people who want more, like, and can operate in a team environment. Like, they want more. Like, a lot of times you can get overlooked as a loan officer and didn't know certain opportunities are available. But if you want to lead and move forward, like, I'm a guy who started in the call center. I said that's like the lowest level for a self-originated person, like a self-gen person. I started in the call center. And today, because I wanted more for myself, and I had a company that believed in that, I'm now executive vice president for the company. So I want other people to know that, hey, we're not going to hold you back. It's up to you. You can go as great as you want to, or you can stay level as you want to. But for our company, what we're looking for is people who want more and think that they have the skill set to do more.
I love this. Summed up: entrepreneurial, part of the solution, high work velocity, and you want someone that's going to self-start, man. He's the one bugging you. He's calling you going, hey, does this work? What do you think? Who can I talk to? Who's doing this better? And it's funny because in real estate, there's really you don't graduate in mortgage. You don't learn how I'm going to graduate and go be a rock star originator. There's no process for that. It's like you said, those pieces. That's awesome. JD, what are you looking for when you hire somebody?
Shaun pretty much nailed it. I kind of jotted down work ethic, personality, and drive. If you got the work ethic, and the skill set can come. You can learn the technical aspects of mortgage origination. Neither of us knew anything about it when we started. So that's, you got to have a little bit of a brain to be able to grasp the knowledge and get it implemented into your business. But if you got the drive and the desire to be successful, and you want it bad, this career it's just amazing. I don't know how anybody could not want to do this. The freedom we have, the ability to provide so well for our families, and with no cap. You want to make an unlimited income, just work harder, leverage your time, your talent, build a team, and the sky's the limit.
I love it. We were talking, the 3 of us were talking the other day, we were doing a little brainstorming together on a golf course, and we always say this: when someone fails, it's either will or skill. And if it's skill, it kind of falls on our side, right? It'd be our fault on this phone if you didn't give somebody the skill set to be able to be successful. If it's will, you can't fix that. And right. I don't know about you guys, but I can feel will 30 days or less, because this is unfixable, the will part. I've watched people try to fix will, try to get somebody to want it more. And Shaun, you played sport at elite level. You saw guys with super talent used to say, if I could put this guy's engine in this guy's body, we could have Jordan, right? And the truth is, you can't fix will. That's something that's innate in people. Either you have it or you don't. Skill, you can work on stuff you can fix. So I love it, man. That's awesome. All right. One thing you guys wish you learned earlier in your career that would have propelled it, that maybe took you longer, right? I always say this, like I was a lone wolf, lead sales guy for years. And I was like, I don't want managing a bunch of these. No way. These people, I can't sell candy to kindergartners and resets. Not my thing. And I had to learn to be more of someone that kind of grabbed guys around you and brought them with you as opposed to just doing your own thing. What were you guys, Shaun, let's go to you now. What was the thing you wish you learned earlier in your career that would have helped you become even better than you are today?
For me, it's probably learn that it's not all about me.
Yeah.
I think a lot of loan officers, we kind of get into the frame of mind that we just care about our file, our clients. Like you're the only person that really exists. And there's a team aspect, you know. And a lot of times you can, if you give up a little bit of control here and let someone help you, there are people that do things a lot better than you do. Like for myself, was organization. I thought I was very organized, but it was a struggle. I'm an athlete, and I'm a talker. So
Sales guy.
But I can get it done. I can get it done. But however, I'm not that organized. And it took for me to get my first assistant to realize like how organized, how disorganized I was, and how organized, like that was her comfort zone. And it allowed me to excel and do a lot more the things that I was really good at. So like concentrating on things that I did really well and took away all the tasks that I wasn't that great in. But as a
now who coached you on to get it? Who coached you on starting that team? Was it someone you saw? Did you go to a mentor and go, hey, well, I can't get over this 6-7 loans a month. How do I get to 20, 30? Was it that?
Hey, look, you know, the funny story is my CEO, he made an offer that I couldn't refuse. Even though I refused it at first, he made an offer that I could not refuse. And I always think about this. That's a great question. I was like, man, was I that big of a train wreck to where they kind of forced my hand to have an assistant? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like everybody, like, you know, you talk to loan officers across the country, everybody always says, hey, you ask them this one question. Hey, do you take complete applications? Yeah, I take complete applications. All my files are great, right? So I always like, man, was I that, like, I gotta ask that question one day. Was I bad at doing it? I don't think I was, but there's a reason why I had an assistant. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like right now, me and JD are trying to talk to a couple of our guys right now, trying to convince them, hey, it's the assistant is what you need to get, not only get to the next level, but to help you have smoother months and less headache. Because we see from the bird's eye view, if we can get this off your plate, you're very good at this one thing, but you're really not good at this. You know, so that's my CEO, one who kind of pulled me aside and convinced me to have this assistant.
And how many more deals did you start doing once that person got acclimated in the game than you were doing once you had that assistant going? Were you 2x, 3x production?
Listen, it allowed me to probably 3 or 4x.
Yeah.
Then it ultimately helped prepare me to become a branch manager, to a vice president, to senior vice president, and now the role that I am today, simply because that one move, because it allowed me to concentrate on things that I was excellent in.
And I think it's funny. I think it's a blessing and a curse of athletes, right? Because for guys like us, I can get that done. I can take care of that. I have realtor partners like, hey, I put a sign in a certain way. I take the photos. I'm like, listen to me. That can't be your highest and best use, because the more you're in front of people, the more deals you do, more apps you get, more things you get. But it's a hard thing to say there's someone that could do it as good or even better than me. But once you see it, you get addicted to it. You could never have gone back. Once you saw what she was able to do, you're like, oh, hell no, I'm never doing that again. She's way better.
I don't want to do the task anymore. I kind of I forgot how to do it, tell you the truth.
So, okay, so that yours would be build a team faster because you got that advice. JD, what would you wish you learned a little bit earlier that would have helped you get where you were going to get to in your career?
Well, I wish you'd come to me first because I have this exact same thing. And it really, that first assistant is the hardest hire you ever make. The ability to leverage. You know, Andy Stanley, originally the book was called The 5 Principles of Leadership, and I think it was retitled to Next Generation Leader. But one of the 5 principles is only do what only you can do. And if you focus on only those things that you should do and nobody else should do, and delegate everything else, and it's life altering. The first time that my assistant stayed later than I did in the office, I was just like horrible guilt.
Yeah.
Horrible guilt. I hated that. And it didn't happen very often, but I remember leaving a list of things on her desk and then walking out. And it was awful. And, you know, come to find out a few days later, it was something she relished. I mean, she loved doing the stuff that I hated. And it freed me up to do the things that I enjoyed. And so when you can get to the place where work is not work, it's fun, and everything you do are the things that you're gifted to do and you're talented. It's in your skill set. It's in your wheelhouse. I mean, everything is fun, and that's a great place to be. So whoever's watching this, if you're doing things that you do not enjoy doing, find a way to delegate them.
It is to me, once you do it, it's like a drug, I imagine. You're addicted to never going back to doing things you don't do well or you don't like, because you realize you're doing your clients and your business a huge disservice.
Well,
right?
And especially like you were saying, when you can do it, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it.
100%.
I was doing everything. I was processing, originating. I mean, there were days in 2003 when I stayed in the office all night long. You know, I slept on the floor for a couple hours, got up, started working again at 6 o'clock. All during the day, I'm answering the phone, I'm taking loan outs. During the evening and night, I'm processing and getting stuff, you know, doing all the paperwork when I don't need to talk to anybody. That's miserable existence. It finally got to the point where it's like, this is stupid. I am wasting a lot of time.
Well, good news is I know a really busy mortgage company that always be looking for good assistants and admin to kind of grow their business. So people that are watching this, put your hands up. I would like, in closing, you guys think of one thing. If you were thinking about changing careers right now with the pandemic, we've all been very blessed. We're having some of our best years ever in real estate. And in Las Vegas, there's 27% unemployment. You've got 22% across the U.S. If you were going to give one piece of advice or knowledge to somebody who's maybe think about a career change, getting into mortgage, what would it be? And then how do they get in touch with you guys to do that? So Shaun, go with you first. The piece of advice you'd want to say if they were thinking, what would make it, hey, do this if you're thinking about, what would it be? What would be your advice?
My advice would be, look at the person that's recruiting you, and who's talking to you from the company. Because what I've noticed is a lot of guys are recruiting people to companies that the person who's recruiting has only been there for a year, 2 years.
Right.
And our CEO is always like, hey, listen, everybody's good when the tide is high. When that tide starts retracting, then you start seeing who can really navigate the seas. And so experience matters. It's kind of like if you had to get heart surgery tomorrow, do you want a guy who's been doing it for 30 years? Do you want the guy who's just got out of med school? You know, experience matters. So definitely look at experience, man. It doesn't matter if you've been in the business 20 years if you don't have any experience at the current company that you're at. You know, it's like if you've been in the business 20 years and you have some longevity at this particular company, then you can really speak on their behalf. You can really tell, hey, is this really a family culture? Are we stable? You know, what should I actually expect during our turn times? How how do things happen when things aren't going the best and there's a down market? You know, will my company have my back? It's like certain things that you want to ask so that you don't have to keep hopping from company to company. And that's one thing that's very important to me, is knowing the leadership that's involved there. It's like kind of going playing for Phil Jackson. You know, I'm getting coached by Phil Jackson. Well, he won how many rings? I have
11.
a high probability, 11 rings. I have a good chance that my team is going to be doing pretty well, you know, versus the rookie head coach that just started over here. You know, he could be good, but I just don't know. I want to go with the experience. So that's what we're looking for.
That's a great line. JD, what would you give advice? What would be your advice to folks thinking about maybe a career change?
If somebody's looking to get into the mortgage business, I would say, you know, go back and watch the part of this recording where we're talking about what it takes to be successful. And if those characteristics, if you fit those characteristics, this is a good move. If you don't, this is probably not a good move. You know, there's a lot easier ways to make average income.
Well,
I don't know of a better way to make great income. Like you can do, the sky's the limit here, but if you don't want that, then this is probably not the career for you.
I say this all the time. Real estate, mortgage, real estate title, it's not a great job, but it's a world-class career if you're going to commit to making it that. If you just want a job, you're kind of in between stuff, you want to just do something for a while, this is not the space for you. But if you've done a couple things and like Shaun figured out, man, if I'm great at this job, I'm maxed it here, right? And I can't get paid for my talent or work ethic in this space. If you want a career, you can earn as much as your talent, work ethic, and likability will allow you. And that's rare. Gentlemen, love working with you. Love being in business with you. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.